This video has been brought to you by Let Me Plan Your Life. Can't figure out what you're doing? Let me plan your life. Towards the end of December, everything shuts down and people take this time to reflect on the last year and figure out the next year. And what I've been doing to figure out my next year and to plan everything out is use Ben Whitehair's annual blueprint. It is very detailed, it's very organized, and it does take a lot of work the first time you do it, but the next couple of times you do it, it's a lot less work. So the first step in planning out your next year is reviewing your past year. Go through your calendar, and if you keep a journal, go through your journal and try to find the 10 or 20 highlights of your year. These could be the good points, these could be the bad points, these could be personal things, these could be professional things. Whatever they are, try to come up with a list of 10, maybe 20. It sounds like a lot, but you've had a whole year, so it actually is less work than you think it is. I also recommend taking some time to review all of your expenses from the past year. Where did your money go, and are you okay with your money going there? This also helps you plan your next year because you know what major expenses are going to come up and you can plan around that. So what do you want to accomplish? These could be personal things, these could be professional things. Feel free to start vague in general, but try to come up with something more specific and tangible. Remember, a good goal is SMART. It is specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. The reason spend more time with kids is not a good goal is because it's very vague. You're not saying how much time you're currently spending with them. You're not saying how much time you're going to spend with them. So it is a good starting point, though. You can make it more specific by saying, I will spend 1 hour every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday helping my child with his or her homework. It becomes a lot more specific and a lot more measurable. The goal of spending more time with kids is very habit-oriented. It's not really time-based like a trip to Paris in July. If you were to do something like that where there is a deadline and a specific point of time where it can happen, you could approach that by working backwards. So if you wanted a trip in July, you would do the research, find out how much it costs. I'm just going to say $3,000 because that sounds plausible to me. If you were to travel to Paris in July for $3,000, you have January, February, March, April, May, and June. You have 6 months to earn $3,000. If you do the math, it comes out to finding an extra $500 a month by July. You could also work backwards by saying, for me to go to Paris in July, I need to have the hotel booked in June, I need to have the flight booked in May, and I need to request time off of work in April. Now, some of you may have a goal that is really, really big and really, really intimidating, and I do have one counterintuitive suggestion. One counterintuitive thing I have done, which I don't recommend for everyone, but it might work for you. One counterintuitive thing is to have an exit strategy. So for example, if your goal is to move to New York because you want job opportunities that you can't get in your hometown, well, your first exit strategy might be saying, if I don't have at least a $10,000 fund put together by April, I can't move to New York in May because I just will not be able to support myself. I will either have to push everything back or figure something else out. Another exit strategy might be saying, once I am in New York, I have 6 weeks to get myself at least a day job. Maybe not my dream job, but at least a day job. If I cannot do that in 6 weeks, I have to get a plane ticket so I can go home before my money runs out. And yet another exit strategy might be saying, I am moving to New York for a job opportunity, so if I get a job opportunity that's closer to home before I make the move, then I don't have to move to New York anymore. Hopefully, you do not have to use your exit plan, but you'll have it. Since you're already coming up with things you do want for the next year, come up with things you don't want for the next year. So for example, you may have had a series of weeks in a row where you had to work 60 plus hours a week, and that just was not sustainable. You would not repeat that if you have the choice. Well, now's a chance to come up with ways so you don't have to repeat that. Some of these ideas could be booking certain things for yourself so that you're forced to leave work at a certain time, or just having more firm boundaries, or even just a list of things to say no to so that you're able to keep your 40-hour work week as opposed to overworking yourself. Throughout the year, I will periodically try to review my plan, see what is working and what isn't working, if I'm meeting goals or if I'm not meeting goals. If I'm not meeting certain goals, sometimes I ask myself, well, why not? If something really bizarre and unpredictable happened that's preventing me from meeting a goal, I don't really feel bad about not meeting the goal because something I couldn't have predicted is clearly keeping me from it. Alternatively, sometimes I just realize I wanted this in January, but in March, I didn't want this anymore. So it's fine that I'm not pursuing it anymore. It's not worth the energy. Honestly, even in an amazing, miraculous, perfect year, you're still probably not going to accomplish every single thing on your list, and that's really okay. Be flexible with yourself, give yourself time for all of these changes to happen, and maybe you're not going to change everything, but you can still change a couple of things about your life, and that can still be really good. Thanks a lot for watching. Be sure to hit the like and subscribe buttons, follow me on social media. If you've got a question, leave a comment, and I will see you all later. See you next year.